Now on Good Day, the valley got soaked last night. Heavy rainfall. Sherry says it's not over yet. We have team coverage on the damage and flooding left behind.
Plus an arrest made in connection to a false active shooter seen at Town Square. We'll tell you about the suspect and the situation itself.
And everyone is safe. The final rescue mission completed for the youth soccer team in Thailand and its coach.
An incredible rescue there. 8 News Now Good Day, the Valley's news leader, starts right now.
Now, live, this is 8 News Now Good Day.
And a good morning to you on the Valley's news leader. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Kirsten Joyce.
I'm John Langler. It is 6 o'clock right now. Hello, monsoon season. What a storm last night across southern Nevada.
Strong storm moved into the valley. Very gusty wind, heavy downpour, kept you up all night, I'm sure. We've got team coverage with Sherry, Hector, and Nia. Hector and Nia covering the aftermath and damage from those storms.
Let's send things over to Sherry first, because there might be some more rain later today, Sherry.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, what we're looking at is some tremendous rain totals and much cooler temperatures this morning. As you can see, the sun is up, skies have cleared out, and temperatures are in the 70s. Wow, what a difference. We are running 20 degrees cooler this morning than we were yesterday at this hour. That's all thanks to those cooling rains which swept through the valley last night with vivid lightning and ferocious winds. Hacienda and Arville, one of the neighbors who scored the highest, 3/4 of an inch of rain. 215 in Fort Apache, 2/3 of an inch. And officially, we received more than half an inch of rain with this wave of thunderstorms last night. Terrific rainfall, but it all came with a price, too, with really strong winds and those vivid lightning strikes. Hopefully nobody was hurt by the lightning. We haven't had any reports of that, but we've seen downed trees, power outages. Everything came with all those winds and the lightning. 89 by 10 a.m., 94 by early afternoon, and we'll be looking for highs today up near 100 degrees. The chance for thunderstorms that will stay with us today. We'll look for the damage as we look around today. We collected some of the best video, actually, from the website, and that's because viewers were posting some of those during the height of the storm, and that's thanks to you. Our Hector Mejia has a look at those images. He's live near Flamingo and Spencer. Some people there waking up too without power this morning. Good morning, Hector.
Good morning, Sherry. That is true. According to NV Energy, some 90 customers in this neighborhood are without power this morning. And there's actually a wash that flows right by this neighborhood by Flamingo and Spencer. That sort of gives you an idea right now of all of the rainwater that fell overnight. You see all of that flood rainwater, rather, just flowing there rapidly. And for those waking up without power in this neighborhood, well, NV Energy blames lightning. And as Sherry mentioned, we've collected video and pictures of last night's thunderstorm. This is video of the storm falling hard over in the southwest near Tropicana and Valley View. Many of you took to Twitter and social media to share our first taste of this monsoon season. And not far from that intersection, people captured their pools being pummeled by all of the overnight rain. Then soon you'll see some of the gallons and gallons of water pouring out of gutters and out into the street, causing some flooding issues here and there. We have pictures to show you if you have some to show us of the pictures you took overnight, or if you're waking up to see some of that brand new storm damage this morning, we'd like to see it. You can share it with us through Twitter or our Facebook page. Reporting live near Flamingo and Spencer, Hector Mejia, 8 News Now.
All right, thanks very much, Hector. Currently at McCarran, there are some flights canceled heading out of town. A reminder, check with your airline before leaving. Last night, of course, many flights had to be diverted from McCarran. Many departures had to wait for the storm to pass.
And here's a look at the outage map from NV Energy's website. There are still about 2,800 customers that do not have power this morning. Many of the outages because of the storms. If you're still having issues with your electricity, just call NV Energy if you can. 6:03 now. Luckily, most people in the valley got the message about being safe in the rain.
And it happened at a time when most people were headed to bed. No reports of any major rescue operations, but our streets were flooded, still very dangerous at times. We have Nia Wong joining us live with a look. Hi, Nia.
Hi, Kirsten and John. You know, Clark County has more than 600 channels, but this morning we're out at the Tropicana Wash where you can see and hear that water moving pretty steadily, and it has been ever since last night, where several hours ago waters were just gushing through the channel. You can see trash and other debris popping up at the surface, and sometimes it's what you can't see that could be dangerous in a situation like this, especially for people who have gotten stuck in flooded washes. It really just adds to the danger. Back in 2012, a Henderson teenager died after he fell into the Pittman Wash. It happened during a rainstorm near Stephanie Street and Sunset Road. Crews found his body 3 days later. It's a tragedy Joshua Sardina hasn't forgotten. He lives near the wash and says he's more self-conscious when storms soak the valley.
We generally take like little precautions, like try not to leave a bunch of clutter laying around. You know, anybody that's got kids in the neighborhood, they always know, like, if it's gonna be raining, you know, to bring them inside.
Definitely good advice to keep in mind, especially since we have a chance of more storms soaking us through this week. You know, these waters don't look that harmful, but the dangers are very real. Reporting live, Nia Wong, 8 News Now.
Remember to keep it here on 8 News Now for the latest in coverage during monsoon season. We'll make sure you know exactly where the storms are. Make sure to tag us in all your pictures and video with the hashtag StormTracker8. You can see the latest impact of the storms on our website, LasVegasNow.com.
Yeah, it was nasty last night in the sky, and then it was also pretty nasty on the roads as well. Lots of accidents because of the storms. Nate, anything like that today?
No, all of that stuff is gone, and that is the good news. But boy, we sure had it all for you last night. We want to make sure you use that hashtag StormTracker8 when sending us your pictures. We want to share this with you. As you're getting up and at 'em, maybe you can take just a second to look at this beautiful live picture from our camera at Sunset Station, looking at the Las Vegas skyline and the mountains beyond. Just a really gorgeous way to start the day after all that rain. But then we get to the traffic pictures, and you got sunshine, and you got also the Spaghetti Bowl here, southbound 15, northbound 15, the 95 in both directions. The highways are definitely dry. Side streets, not so much. Still some standing water in places like Koval between Sands and Flamingo. You got the Wynn Employee Parking Garage there in the monorail. Meanwhile, though, the freeway map is looking pretty green. You got some slowing north 15 between Blue Diamond and the 215 and into the Spaghetti Bowl, as we just showed you that live picture. Yeah, you got a lot of company. You're tapping the brakes now before Washington. But the good news is none of those major crashes like the ones we had last night. We'll continue to keep you posted, John.
Nate, thank you. Developing news this morning, the incredible rescue is now over in Thailand. After spending more than 2 weeks trapped deep in a cave, all 12 members of a boys soccer team and their coach are out, and they are safe this morning. Some did have low body temperatures, others had infections, but otherwise they're in good health. Family members have been able to visit their sons in the hospital and see them through the glass there. They've also been able to speak with them on phones. The team had been trapped since June 23rd. Back here in the Valley, Metro Police has made an arrest after an active shooter scare on Friday night.
Police say Rayvon Burton pulled out a handgun during a fight. No shot was fired, no one was injured, but a lot of the chaos at the mall was fueled by social media. Rumors started that there was an active shooter. Post 1 October, Metro Police says it is not taking any chances, but the department says there is a downfall to reporting misinformation.
And we had a large amount of resources come in on that, whereas if there was another incident in the city that really needed those resources, they would have been tied up for the moment responding to this one.
False alarm is not the first scare at a mall after 1 October. Back in May, Metro responded to reports of a shooting at the Boulevard Mall. No shot was fired, but a man was arrested after he walked around the mall with a fake gun and a mask.
Prosecutors have filed more charges against 2 Henderson teenagers accused of murdering their friend. Jaden Caruso has been charged with the murder of 17-year-old Matthew Minkler. He was originally charged as an accessory. The other teenager, Cody Harlan, already faces a murder charge. Both are accused of shooting Minkler last month in what prosecutors called a modified game of Russian roulette. Both suspects will be back in court next week.
Travelers could soon find themselves facing canceled flights with Allegiant Air. Members of a pilots union voted to authorize a strike if necessary. The Las Vegas-based airline and its pilots have a disagreement about the scheduling system. It enforces must-fly days regardless of seniority and preferences. The airline sent a statement saying it does not think there is any legal grounds for a strike, but major hubs could be impacted, including ours, if one does occur.
Tomorrow, the NBA Summer League hosts its first Vegas Strong First Responders Day. It'll honor the victims and their families as well as first responders. Police, fire, and EMT services will get $5 off entry with a valid identification. There's also an online auction, both at the Thomas & Mack, featuring the signed memorabilia, and it will all benefit the Vegas Strong Fund.
President Donald Trump has picked his choice to fill the open seat on the Supreme Court.
Who is Brett Kavanaugh? We'll explain the appeals court judge, and we'll tell you why Democrats are slamming the president's choice.
And rushing in to save this dog's life, several flight attendants helped the little guy out during a flight.
And CBS This Morning getting your top stories ready for you. Here's a live look at their studio in New York City and Manhattan. They're up at 7 o'clock right here on the mighty 8 News Now.
Of Las Vegas history. You're watching the Valley's news leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swensk, and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now. Good day.
It looks like Skyway Castle could soon be open for business again. The National Park Service says it's received funding to move ahead with renovations and repairs to the Death Valley landmark. A flash flood damaged the property and nearby roads in 2015, and since then the Park Service has been trying to make repairs. The castle is expected to reopen in the year 2020.
Trending now, JetBlue flight attendants jumped in to save this dog's life in the middle of a flight. Massachusetts couple flying home from Florida with their 3 dogs when Darcy, the French bulldog, started getting frantic. Her tongue and gums were blue. She was panting frantically, so they used an oxygen tank and a mask for her and brought ice bags to cool her down. She rebounded and was good to go by the time the plane landed.
Also trending right now, this. The annual Wife Carrying Championships in Finland. 50 men took the love of their lives through an hour-long obstacle course. The key, obviously, don't drop your wife.
Yeah.
There are qualifying competitions here in the U.S., in the U.K., and Sweden. The competition's been going on for 23 years, but it's been ruining marriages even longer than that. It started in the 19th century.
Wow.
I think it's
Is that guy dressed as Mario?
Yes! What visuals.
I think it's been ruining backs for decades as well,
There's
too.
Elvis. Elvis.
He lives.
Oh,
Man,
my goodness.
That just doesn't look comfortable for either one of them.
No. But then what is the conversation, not only after the race, but...
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine the water up her nose? And, well, that right there is just shot.
So
here's the conversation at the dinner table. Honey, there's a wife carrying competition in Finland. Do you want to go?
Now, I've seen Kelly and Ryan recreate this race on the air. It is hilarious, but this is even better.
Were those the winners? Because they're both in very good shape.
Well,
Yes,
of course they
it
are.
looks like they're a little bit lighter than the competition.
I saw a couple like that at yoga over the weekend, and I thought,
Were they doing
wow.
that?
No, well, not exactly,
Okay.
but they probably could have.
Is that a
they
yoga
had muscles
position?
in places I didn't know muscles were supposed to be. And I was thinking, wow, that's a really fit couple. Oh my
What's
goodness,
the more,
that's
so I'm wondering,
hilarious.
what is the more challenging conversation, trying to get husband and wife to do that or to discuss why you lost afterwards?
Oh, I don't know.
Honey, that getting over that barrel.
Did
what
you
the
see
heck?
those other people?
Yeah.
That could have been us.
We practiced for months.
I didn't see anybody fall down, which I think is very impressive.
Or any of the wives dropped. I don't know.
Exactly.
That's why they had helmets on.
Oh my goodness, something impressive last night to me. The winds, the lightning, and the rainfall totals. Gosh, we did really well last night, everybody. But those winds they were foreboding. You could really tell something was on the horizon when you start hearing those winds first. And they were high. We've cleared out, we've calmed down, temperatures have cooled off. Boy, we're even in the 60s in Summerlin this morning, but the humidity is still very high, up around 90%. So even though temperatures are running 20 degrees cooler this morning than yesterday, the humidity is much, much higher. Dew points are up around 70 degrees, almost matching the temperatures. So that means the air is just really thick and heavy out there. So we really are kind of ripe for more thunderstorms because we've got a lot of sunshine out there also to work with. Here are some of the storm gusts. Near 70 miles an hour about 9:30 last night at the airport. 57 up at Nellis. Henderson, you clocked 55-mile-an-hour winds. Red Rock over 50, and you can see near 50 at North Las Vegas, and Boulder Highway out on the east side over 30-mile-an-hour winds. Dangerous, gusty, strong winds along with the lightning and, of course, the heavy downpours. We had over ½ an inch to near 3/4 of an inch of rain last night in valley neighborhoods, producing the flash flooding. All of these came together as dangerous elements. Sometimes just one or two is hard enough to deal with, but we had everything last night with this wave of storms. If it's daytime thunderstorms, you've got to look for shelter. If you're out caught in the nighttime hours, do the same. You've got to get out of these storms. And if it's daytime, off the golf course, out of the pool, and just avoid the high water in the streets. We had a lot of folks trying to navigate flooded intersections and high water in streets last night. The wave is still out of the east and towards the west, and that's where it came from last night, sweeping in from Arizona, just encompassing all of Clark County and southern Nye County. We'll look again for the possibility of thunderstorms, possibly similar to last night's, and you can see the very heavy rain indicated by red on the radar and all of the lightning strikes. But what we will be looking for are clouds building like we saw yesterday. This is a time lapse that we did in the afternoon. What happens is the moisture gets cooked up by the daytime heating, and you start to see these cumulonimbus clouds are building, and then at some point energy actually sparks these thunderstorms to open up. The lightning, we had hundreds of lightning strikes yesterday, and you could see last night as we rolled on our cameras all the vivid lightning across town with those thunderstorms. So again, please be careful. 99 degrees, almost 100, so a little bit cooler today, but along with those thunderstorms, it's with the humidity out there, it's just not going to matter really the temperatures. It's the sunshine and the daytime heating that's really going to be the catalyst for the storms with some energy out of Arizona today. We'll keep the chance for thunderstorms through Thursday, even Friday, and then it looks like it'll start to back off later in the weekend. We'll be down to maybe 100 again by Thursday. Wow. All right, let's get to the roads. Beautiful shots out there this morning, Nate.
Yes, the good news is, Sherry, that we don't have any major crashes to start out with, so we can take a moment. If you're just getting started here on your Tuesday morning and you're brushing your teeth or whatever, you have a second to grab a look at your television. This is a beautiful live picture from our camera at Sunset Station, looking at the horizon and the skyline of Las Vegas and the mountains. Obviously blue sky, some lingering clouds, but we do want to get to the roadways, not as nearly as bad in terms of traffic as we have seen. Southbound I-15, you're losing that left lane heading towards the Spaghettieville from around Washington, but the backups are not nearly as strong as they have been. Standing water could still be an issue after the rain last night. Here's a puddle on Koval between Sands and Flamingo. Of course, most of the freeways are dry, but side streets still have some puddles and standing water. Got to be careful out there. We're keeping an eye on all of the freeway system for you. John and Kirsten.
Nate, thank you. Hey, on July 22nd, Channel 8, us, turned 65. To celebrate, we're taking a look back at stories we've covered over the years that have shaped the Valley and the city of Las Vegas.
Stories like this one, the day the Riviera first opened back in 1955. The first high-rise hotel on the Strip became home to stars like Liberace. It was also on the big screen in Ocean's 11, The Hangover, and one of the Jason Bourne movies. The Riviera was imploded in 2016 to make room for expansion of our convention center.
All right, 6:20 on your Tuesday morning. Starbucks is getting rid of its plastic green straws.
The new lids you'll soon see on your cold drinks.
And it is time for today's Facebook contest.
Register to win on our Facebook page.
Their favorites, only at Del Taco.
You're watching 8 News Now. Good day.
President Donald Trump has picked federal appeals court Judge Brett Kavanaugh for the Supreme Court.
Judge Kavanaugh not only has to pick up the pieces, he's also in the mix of a divided Senate. It all is going to play out in D.C. Laura Podesta has more on his record.
There is no one in America more qualified for this position.
In the East Room of the White House, President Trump nominated federal appeals court Judge Brett Kavanaugh to fill the seat of retiring Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy.
I will keep an open mind in every case, and I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States.
With his wife and 2 daughters by his side, the 53-year-old said he was deeply honored to have been selected by President Trump.
A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law.
Kavanaugh has written roughly 300 opinions as a judge on the D.C. Circuit. He supported conservative issues ranging from gun rights to anti-abortion cases and sided against net neutrality and many Obama-era EPA regulations. At a rally outside the Supreme Court, Democrats slammed the president's choice.
This is a nominee who wants to pave the path to tyranny.
Kavanaugh starts meeting with senators today. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell called Kavanaugh a superb choice. The Senate is expected to vote on Kavanaugh's nomination in the fall.
Actor George Clooney out of a hospital after a scooter crash in Italy. Police say he was on a scooter when a person driving a Mercedes struck him. Police say he ended up on the hood of that vehicle. He underwent some testing at the hospital. No serious injuries. He's currently filming a new series called Catch-22 based on the novel.
Starbucks plans on getting rid of its plastic straws by 2020, and they're now getting creative with the lids on its cold drinks. The new lids have a raised lip for sipping. Some have described the new lid as an adult sippy cup. Starbucks will also have eco-friendly straws made from paper or compostable plastic. The company says the change will eliminate more than 1 billion plastic straws every year. Not only is Starbucks taking the initiative, though, so has MGM Resorts. From now on, straws will only be served by request at property restaurants, bars, lounges, and on the casino floor. The initiative first started back in May and is being rolled out across the country. MGM's goal is to eventually remove 100 million plastic straws from landfills and waterways every year.
You can now turn to a virtual vet if you have questions about your sick dog or cat.
Is there any discharge from the eye?
No.
No. It could be an infection, sensitivity to an irritant, or a number of other things.
This new service for the Amazon Alexa is called My Pet Doc. It's a bot created by veterinarians. They use data from more than 30,000 text exchanges between vets and pet owners.
To identify the most frequently asked questions, how people ask them, and be able to develop a predictable conversation.
For now, this can address 5 common issues with dogs and cats and can refer you to a vet if you need more help.
No proof, though, that it will help them get the bird or get the paper.
Right, or
get the
I
ball.
like what you said earlier, mistaking having babies for having rabies. You know, there's going to be a lot of issues with this.
Yeah, they'll work it out, though. One hotel in Las Vegas doesn't have to work too much out. They have an extra pair of hands roaming the halls.
We're going to introduce you to the new robot butlers, helping you get what you need.
Now on Good Day, monsoon season rolled through the valley last night. Strong thunderstorms, and there might be more on the way. Sherry has details and team coverage.
And honoring a hero, the petition circling around to name a brand new school after one of the heroes from 1 October.
And have you still been looking for your pet after the 4th of July? Well, the Animal Foundation will tell you what they're expected to do with those lost pets if you don't pick them up in time.
8 News Now Good Day, the Valley's news leader, starts right now.
Now, live, this is 8 News Now Good Day.
Good morning to you, 6:30 on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for watching us here on Good Day. I'm John Langler.
I'm Kirsten Joyce. Last night, the Valley got its first soaker of the monsoon season.
Yeah, strong storms moved into the valley with gusty winds and heavy downpours. We have team coverage with Sherry, Hector, and Nia. Hector and Nia are out in the field covering the aftermath and some of the damage from the storms.
Well, we're going to send things over to Sherry first. More rain on the way for today, Sherry?
Well, last night, you did not want to be outdoors because you were subject to being exposed to all of the lightning, the very heavy rain. We had it all last night. The good news is these storms have calmed down and moved on, but they brought near 70-mile-an-hour winds, almost 3/4 of an inch of rain in many South Valley neighborhoods. This was a wave that came out of the east with all that monsoon moisture, but some really good energy that initiated out of Arizona, rotated right through Clark County, and fortunately those storms calmed down and moved right into California. But now we've got blue sky out there. Temperatures dropped into the 70s out of the very hot 90s mid-evening last night when those storms rolled in, and we're still in the 70s, but with sunshine we'll warm up quickly. It's super muggy out there, so the atmosphere is all juiced up. The one that may be our concern is that the atmosphere is so worked over that it may be a little bit of a calmer day. But if we do get thunderstorms, it looks like the focus could come earlier in the afternoon, maybe even through the afternoon commute. There was quite a bit of damage last night, from flooding to uprooted trees, and those are just some of the problems that we saw last night and with those overnight storms. If you have images showing the height, if you have images and you'd like to share those with us, please do that. Hector Mejia is live near Flamingo and Spencer with some of those images from the storm last night. Hector, pretty impressive with those winds and heavy rain, right?
That's right, Sherry, and lightning. Some of our viewers also captured that spectacular lightning from overnight. But before we get to that, we're in this neighborhood because at this hour, NV Energy still lists this part of this neighborhood as still having no power, 90 customers in this area, and they blame lightning. Now, as those pictures trickle through, we do have a new picture to show you of a large uprooted tree in a front yard. Viewer Crystal Rose says this is in the downtown area by Oakey and Burnham. People waking up to some of that storm damage. And down in Henderson, this was the scene last night. Mother Nature putting on a spectacular lightning show as the first sights of this season's monsoon rolls through. Now, some trees uprooted near Harmon and Maryland, just down the street from us by UNLV. The apartment complex there where that happened is also dealing with some roof and ceiling damage. We have a picture of what looks like a small wooden beam left dangling from the ceiling. Of course, none of this is major damage, but it's our first taste of this year's monsoon season and a reminder of the force it could unleash. If you are waking up to some more of this storm damage from overnight, let us know. You can share those pictures with us either through Twitter or our Facebook page, 8 News Now. Reporting live near Flamingo and Spencer this morning, Hector Mejia, 8 News Now.
Hector, thank you. The storm did make some impacts over at McCarran. Currently, there are some flights still canceled heading out of Las Vegas. Just a reminder, check with your airline before leaving on any delays, because last night flights had to be diverted from McCarran and a lot of departures had to wait for the storm to pass.
And we do have a look at the outage map on NV Energy's website. There now remains about 575 customers currently without power. Many of the outages due to last night's storm. If you're having any issues with your electricity, you can contact NV Energy. Of course, that storm sent water rushing down our streets and into our washes.
Flooded waters always present a real danger here in the valley. 8 News Now reporter Nia Wong live with a look from last night's damage. Hello, Nia.
Hello, Kirsten and John. Here at the Tropicana Wash, the waters are still moving pretty steadily, but just several hours ago, these waters were actually much stronger and much higher than what you see over here. Waters surged through the channel and trash and other debris were caught up in the mess. The Regional Flood Control District has said kids and the homeless are some of the most at risk during these storms. We've seen cases where they've had to be rescued from washes just like this one. Nearly 6 years ago, a rainstorm sent waters rushing through the Pittman Wash near Stephanie Street and Sunset Road. Henderson teenager William Moots fell in and his body was recovered 3 days later. Resident Joshua Sardina lives near the wash, and it's a tragedy that still remains on his mind.
We did have the issue with the teenager that passed away in 2012, so we're generally a little more self-conscious about it.
The same year Moots died, this happened at the Desert Rose Golf Course. A major storm flooded the area. One man died and dozens of homes and businesses were flooded. After this, Clark County went ahead with their flood prevention program. If you are not sure if your home is in a flood zone, you can check for that information on the Regional Flood Control District's website. Reporting live, Nia Wong, 8 News Now.
Nia, thank you. Remember, stay with us right here at 8 News Now for the latest in coverage during monsoon season. We'll make sure you know exactly where all the storms are and where they're going to be. Make sure to tag us in all of your pictures and your video with the hashtag StormTracker8. Make sure you do it all safely. You can see the latest impact of the storms on LasVegasNow.com.
Let's check in now with Nate, see if we have any issues on the roads at this hour.
Not like last night, that is for sure, John and Kirsten. So we have a moment to take a look at a beautiful live picture from our camera at Sunset Station, looking up at the Las Vegas skyline, the mountains beyond, and blue sky. Just a really gorgeous morning after the storm. However, there is a crash we want to make sure you're aware of. This is on Durango, southbound at Charleston. The right lane and maybe the second lane to the right also taken up by a Metro Cruiser, blocking that car that crashed into somebody. Again, this is southbound Durango at Charleston, and there are still some areas of standing water, so be careful in the side streets. Obviously, the freeways are drying off very nicely, but here on Koval, one example of a puddle in the middle of the intersection there. This is between Sands to the north and Flamingo down to the south. Meanwhile, the freeway system looking pretty good so far, especially after all that rain last night, John and Kirsten.
Nate, thank you. There is a petition circulating right now hoping to name a new school after one of the heroes from 1 October.
That hero, Officer Charleston Hartfield. The woman who started the petition, that is a teacher. She also knew the officer in a very special way. He was her first sergeant in the National Guard. She described him as a father figure, a confidant, and a disciplinarian, all things that she says make for the perfect role model for students in our valley.
He just did so much for as many people as he possibly could up until the last minute. You know, he went into, he wasn't on duty. He went in there and he did what he needed to do, and he was a savior to however many families. So he needs to be remembered.
Applications for the school names are due this Friday. 9 finalists will be chosen by September, 3 finalists per school. And then from there, the Board of Trustees will make a decision. Durrell says the location doesn't matter because Officer Hartfield touched lives all across the valley.
Today is the last day to reclaim your pet at the Animal Foundation for free if you lost them over the 4th of July holiday. Every year, hundreds of pets are brought to the shelter after being spooked by the fireworks. So if you've lost your pet, go in person to try and look for them, because after today, all of those pets will go up for adoption.
The date and time has been set for this year's Las Vegas Bowl.
How much tickets are going for if you want to go and check out all the action at Sam Boyd Stadium.
And meet the newest robots on the Strip. Which hotel is bringing in this new technology to help out their guests?
You're watching the Valley's news leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swensk, and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now. Good day.
Tickets for the 2018 Las Vegas Bowl are now on sale. It'll be played December 15th, 12:30 in the afternoon at Sam Boyd Stadium and televised nationally, featuring the top team from the Mountain West against the 6th team from the Pac-12 Conference. Prices are $35. They go all the way up to $110.
The Golden Knights holding its annual street hockey clinic today at the Walnut Recreation Center about 2 p.m. Defenseman Derek England will be at this afternoon's clinic. Children will learn the basics of street hockey, and they will run station-based drills followed by scrimmages. Very cool.
Yes, and you can also go behind the scenes at T-Mobile, where the Golden Knights play, of course. Tours are now being offered to allow you to see the inner workings of the Strip venue. Starting Monday, July 30th, fans will have the chance to tour T-Mobile. You'll see the back house areas and learn a whole lot about how the facility operates. The tours cost $25 a person and will run every Monday and Thursday from 2 and 4 o'clock. That starts July 30th.
Today, the Vdara Hotel will have new members on its team.
Guests will be welcomed by 2 robot butlers named Fetch and Jet.
Good names.
The robots can deliver snacks, coffee, and spa products to guest rooms. They prioritize multiple requests and wirelessly communicate with the hotel's systems. Fetch and Jet will call a guest's room when they arrive, and once the door opens, their lids open automatically, and guests can get their snacks, their travel kits, and there's the future.
I'm guessing Jet is faster than Fetch, but that's just by the names. Well, speaking of fast, Mother Nature not only took a swipe at us last night, but the storm started in Arizona. This dust storm, called a haboob in the Arizona desert, closed roads, some highways due to the lack of visibility, and temporarily knocked out power to nearly 100,000 people around the Phoenix area. The intense wind and high searing temperatures and those strong thunderstorms went through the Phoenix area, bringing a lot of damage and then some very heavy rainfall. That storm brought flooding rain east of Phoenix into an area called Mesa. Check this out, guys. A firefighter dove into a canal to rescue a driver. There was actually somebody in that car. He didn't know it. He stuck his hand through the window and she grabbed his arm. He's like, oh my gosh, there's a person in here. She's in her 50s. She suffered minor injuries. That firefighter pulled her out through a window in that completely submerged car. She was running out of oxygen. She had one little bitty air pocket of air in that flooded car, and that's what she was trying to survive on. If he hadn't pulled her out, she would not have made it. They performed CPR there just to make sure that she was going to survive, and they rushed her to the hospital. But her car somehow completely submerged in that floodwater quickly. And it was amazing. He got through a window, and of course it was so murky, he didn't know what he was dealing with. He didn't have on a dive suit or anything. No. He was just reaching in, and he said she grabbed his. If she hadn't grabbed him, she would have drowned in there. So.
But another reminder, when it's flooding rains or any of that stuff, just don't do it.
That almost looked like she was in a wash. I mean, there was a very steep embankment there, so whether she got washed into that ditch or wherever she was, very, very scary, but thankfully it had a good ending. Man, we see some amazing rescues like that, and we had a few tricky ones that were almost last night, where people were attempting to drive into flooded areas, calling 911 for help. Thank goodness they didn't turn into stories like that. But we did have flooding. We had flooding along the Strip in front of Fashion Show. We had flooding downtown. We had a lot of flooded roads last night because we got so much heavy rainfall in such a short amount of time. Check it out. Hacienda and Arville in the south end of town picked up 3/4 of an inch of rain last night with those thunderstorms. They were moving at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. If they'd been faster, the rainfall amounts would have been lesser. But we're looking at when they are creeping along, boy, they can drop a lot of rain. 215 in Fort Apache in the southwest part of town picked up 2/3 of an inch of rain. Stephanie in 95, almost 2/3 of an inch. McCarran officially over 1/2 an inch of rain. You can see the east side over 1/2 an inch. Nellis about 1/3 of an inch. And then we had those huge outflow winds out ahead of the storms. that were near 70 miles an hour clocked at McCarran. Temperatures dropped like a rock when we got those cooling rains. We went from 90s to 70s, and we still have 70s this morning, even some upper 60s, but the humidity is so high this morning. The air is, you can cut it with a knife. We're over 90% still humidity out there. We've got sunshine, all the elements that can cook up more thunderstorms. I think maybe the chances are better earlier in the day. Last night came pretty late, but we're looking at dangerous lightning possible again, strong gusty winds like we had last night, and very heavy downpours that can lead to flash flooding. So if you're out and about today, you see the lightning, seek some shelter, get off the golf courses, get the kids out of the swimming pool. All of that, such attractants for that lightning. And please give pets a safe place to be. This was a huge wave, again, that started out of Arizona, rotated through Clark County. It's all pretty quiet right now, but again, this was the area over there east of Phoenix yesterday that saw all those thunderstorms first. It's kind of their second big wave of monsoon so far. Last night was our real first one. We had a little bit this weekend. It was kind of a teaser compared to what we had last night. But as I say, every day is different during monsoon season. So I think these will be heat-triggered thunderstorms today. Not as hot as we've been, but still up close to 100 degrees and triple digits in most places. But you can see that we've got plenty of moisture to work with. So please be safe. Watch the skies. Let's get to the roads. Fortunately, we're not dealing with flooded roads, Nate.
No, and there were a ton of crashes last night. There's one that you need to know about this morning. This is on the west side, southbound Durango, right before Charleston. You got to stay out of the two right lanes. This car rear-ended the car in front of it. Metro Police blocking, so you have to squeeze to the left. Once again, southbound Durango as you come up on Charleston. But after all of the messes last night, jackknife tractor trailers, fender benders all over the place, and slick roads, the freeways have dried out. Side streets, you still may see some puddling and some standing water. But in terms of getting through the Spaghetti Bowl, southbound 15, it's all open and dry, but you got a lot of company backing it up towards about Lake Mead. John, Kirsten.
Thanks, Nate. Uber launching a new way for you to get around.
We'll tell you about the California startup it's investing in to get you around town a little quicker right here on 8 News Now. Good day. Good morning.
Vegas history.
Here's a look at headlines you need to know before you head out the door.
All 12 members of that Thailand boys soccer team, their coach, they were trapped in that cave for about 2.5 weeks. The good news, they are out safely this morning. All of them out. The third and final rescue mission wrapped up a little earlier this morning. Doctors say the boys rescued had the last 2 days, had low body temperatures. They did have some infections, but by and large, they're all in good health. That is fantastic news.
Dozens of immigrant children will be reunited with their parents today. A government lawyer says at least 54 children under the age of 5 will join their parents before the court-ordered deadline. However, nearly 50 others will not be reunited. The judge that imposed today's deadline agreed the Trump administration is taking positive steps toward carrying out that order.
Uber customers will now have another way to get around with scooters. The company is getting into the scooter rental business. It's invested in Lime. It's a California startup. Lime motorized scooters will be added to the Uber mobile app. Lime scooters are currently available in more than 70 locations in the U.S. and in Europe. 6:53 now. Democrats are vowing to fight President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee.
CBS This Morning spoke to the Senate's top Democrat. President Trump nominated 53-year-old Brett Kavanaugh, a political conservative, was once a law clerk, for retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy. He has solid credentials, according to the president, but New York Democrat Charles Schumer called Kavanaugh extreme and said Democrats will try to block the confirmation.
Prove to the American people, which I believe is truly the case, that this nominee will lead to a court that repeals women's reproductive freedom, repeals ACA with its protections for pre-existing conditions. We will get a majority of the Senate to vote for it.
CBS This Morning has more on Judge Kavanaugh and more from Senator Schumer coming up in about 10 minutes' time.
Next on 8 News Now, Chick-fil-A wants you to eat more chicken.
What the catch is to get yourself some of its free food today.
Good Tuesday morning. It's the quiet after the big storms last night. Blue sky, a few clouds, very muggy. And even though temperatures are nearly 20 degrees cooler this morning, humidity is about 3 times higher than yesterday, near 80%. And look at dew points. Oh my goodness, they're up near 70 degrees. Atmosphere super juiced. We're looking at maybe near 100 degrees for the afternoon high. Chance of thunderstorms that could start sooner today. It was really late last night when those storms came through. There is another wave of energy right now in Arizona, and that could trigger those afternoon thunderstorms for our area. We'll have to see how it develops through the day. But again, those storms could be here by the afternoon commute. We're certainly watching it. Temps near 100 with the chance of storms through Friday. A slight chance left for Saturday, and then I think we should be quieter by Sunday. Let's get to the road, see how quiet things are this morning. Nate?
All right, Sherry, getting you out the door before 7 a.m. could have been a lot worse after the rain last night. Most of the roads are dry. We have a crash you need to know about on the near west side. This is southbound Durango at Charleston, blocking the 2 right lanes. A car rear-ended another car. Metro Police with a motorcycle there, so you have to squeeze to the left or to the center, southbound Durango at Charleston. The freeway system moving along in fairly decent shape. You do have a lot of company southbound on the I-15 through the Spaghetti Bowl, also on both directions of the 95 between the 15 and over towards Rancho. Kirsten.
Okay, the market's just opened. Right now, the Dow up about 111, 110 points. Yesterday, the Dow rallied 320 points. The NASDAQ finished up 67 yesterday.
All right, I think we all knew this was coming. IHOB is out and IHOP is back for good. The restaurant chain tweeted it's going back to pancakes for good. It also tweeted out that next week on July 17th, they'll sell a short stack of its pancakes for 60 cents in honor of its 60th birthday. Yes, the company tricked everyone that it was going from pancakes to just burgers, calling themselves IHOB.
They didn't trick everyone.
It was a marketing campaign.
Yeah. Speaking of marketing campaigns, get your cow costumes ready. Today, Chick-fil-A is offering free food for what kind of Appreciation Day? Moo. Cow Appreciation Day. If you dress up as a cow, you get a free entree. So head to cowappreciationday.com. You get some costume ideas, and you can see the full menu of what you can eat at Chick-fil-A. It will not be cow-based.
A number 1 for me, please.
Just give me some waffle fries.
Yes.
Yes.
Cowappreciationday.com.
Yes.
I mean, for me, every day is Cow Appreciation Day.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm not happy with IHOP.
No,
whatever
that was a scam from start to finish.
Bye, everybody. Be safe today.